Back home now, we're less than a week away from the election, but Nationals already warning of a growing chance we'll need another one if they can't reach a deal with New Zealand First. It comes just 2 weeks after Christopher Luxon said he would work with Winston Peters if he needed to. And as political reporter Amelia Wade reports, it's been met with accusations of chaos from Labor.
Hello to the final week of the campaign. We're almost there. And it's go time.
Are you saying the scrap is on?
Of course.
Yes, dear boy, it is.
What we have seen in the last week or so is the National Party starting to fall apart at the critical moment.
Absolutely not. National's doing incredibly well. We're up and down the country making our case. I'll tell you who's in chaos and who's falling apart as a Labor government.
Christopher Luxon finally served up an answer 2 weeks ago to the question about working with Winston Peters. Luxon ruled Peters in.
I will make that call.
But then this week, National enlisted Sir John Key to beg Kiwis not to vote for Peters.
Don't risk having no clear election result.
And now National is saying they might not be able to work with Peters at all.
The New Zealand people, 6 days out from this election, have all the power. They have all the power. And what I'm saying to them is think intentionally about that party vote.
National's campaign chair Chris Bishop said there was a growing chance of a hung parliament, where each side has 60 seats, one shy of the seats required to be in power. Bishop told the Herald the second scenario is that New Zealand First holds the power, and said National was concerned there would be an inability to strike a deal in the interests of the country. Bishop said they would try to make it work, but there was a real possibility of a second election unless people cast a strong vote for change.
There's a lot of potential outcomes that could happen on the other side of the election, and that's why I'm saying to New Zealanders, exercise your party vote with great caution and with great intentionality.
I think that New Zealanders would be hoha, they'd be angry, they'd be outraged in any language with having to go through another campaign.
Do you want another election?
Not really, no.
No way. Can't afford. We can't second election.
Labor, however, not hoha at all.
Here we go. Look at that. Enjoy.
Taking great delight in these developments.
I think the fact that the National Party are panicking, talking about the need for another general election, shows that they are just not ready to be government.
Great hopes for Chris Hipkins. I thought he'd come out of his COVID little break actually feeling better, a bit happier, a bit more chipper, and instead he's doubled down on the negativity.
I just think it shows the National Party campaign is in meltdown.
Labor totally lapping it up.
Amelia, have we heard anything from the man in the middle of all this, Winston Peters?
Mr Peters, the man in the middle, which is exactly where National does not want him to be. We haven't actually been able to speak to Mr Peters today, but he did tell the Herald that National's comments show that there was a contempt for voters and that it was scaremongering. We've also managed to speak to Chris Bishop, who doubled down on what he said to the Herald and said that it was a real risk. And this appears to be a strategy from National to scare people off from voting from New Zealand First. But the question is whether this backfires and it scares people off voting for a risk of chaos on the right altogether.
Amelia, thank you. Very interesting development indeed.